Are you involved in a business or thinking about starting one? Do you know there may be environmental impacts from business activities? According to the Environmental Protection Act of 1996, businesses such as gas stations, rice mills, large-scale agriculture and poultry farms, large-scale mining and forestry operations, hotels, and resorts must be authorized. Persons proposing any of these activities need to submit an application for environmental authorization to the EPA.
At the Environmental Protection Agency, we believe that the environment is everybody's business. We can start caring for our planet by becoming more environmentally friendly in our everyday actions. Here's what you can do. Dispose of waste in a garbage bin. Clean our drains, yards, and carpets regularly. Take a reusable shopping bag to the market. Support local butchers and farmers to reduce packaged waste. Plant a kitchen garden, trees and flowers. Compost your organic waste. Conserve water and electricity. Carry a reusable water bottle. These little acts are good for your health and that of the environment. Remember, healthy people work better and achieve more, and together, small actions make a big difference. For further information on how you can help, please contact the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Ganges Street, Sophia, or telephone us at 225-5467. You can also visit our website, epaguyana.org, or our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Welcome to another episode of The Environment Matters. I am your moderator, Ladonna Kissoon. It is a pleasure being here with you, and it's a pleasure to have you joining us for another episode. I do trust that you and your families are keeping safe during this COVID-19 pandemic. As we continue to reflect on the work of the agency in celebration of our 25th anniversary, which was celebrated on June 5th, we will be talking to a number of persons from environmental clubs. We will reflect on the collaborative work that has been done between the Environmental Protection Agency and those clubs. An environmental club is a group of environmentally conscious persons who work together not only to educate but also to raise awareness within their communities and the country at large. There are a number of environmental clubs here in Guyana who have been registered with the agency. So today we'll be featuring a number of those clubs and their participation within their communities. The Environmental Protection Agency, in collaboration with the United Nations Program, the UNDP, launched an environmental education and awareness campaign in 1999. One of the major activities of that program involved the establishment of community and youth groups around Guyana. These activities not only informed, but they also formed environmental clubs and groups. From 2001 to 2002, over 60 environmental clubs and community environmental groups were established throughout the regions of Guyana. Over the years, a number of those clubs have grown significantly and now disperses throughout Guyana with their work. Environmental clubs can be formed by anyone who wants to make a difference within their community and those who have an environmentally conscious mind. The potential of these clubs and community groups to recruit and develop capacity building within the communities and planning and execution of actions in the environmental field has been recognized by many organizations such as the EPA, the UNDP, and also local NGOs right here, as well as other governmental agencies. The first environmental club to have been affiliated with the EPA was that from Santa Rosa, and it was the Santa Rosa Conservation Club, and they were established in September 2000. General objectives of environmental clubs include providing awareness for both environmental and social issues, not only in Guyana, but around the world. Sharing knowledge and shaping individuals who have been a part of their group or even outside within their communities. Enhancing attitudes, skill sets, and encouraging participation for positive action and change in the environment. today we will be talking with Mr. Azima Lewis, who is a member of the Young and Thoughtful Youth Group. So, Azima, welcome to our program, and how have you been keeping?
I've been doing great.
I'm happy to hear that. All right, so young and thoughtful. First of all, before we get into the youth group itself, just tell us a little bit about you and who you are.
I'm a soldier in Guyana Defense Force. I worked with the COVID section as a security, so I live at 178 half mile with Melinda, born and grew up here. Yes.
All right, so born and grown in Linden. I'm sure you must love it up here. That's why you haven't left. So that's a good thing, right? All right, so young and thoughtful. Tell us a little bit about this youth group. When exactly was it established, and under whose guidance is the youth group functional?
It was established in March 8th, 2000, under the director of Mr. Cornelius Roberts.
Okay, so 2008 to now. So I'm sure you guys have been quite busy working
Yes.
along not only within your communities but within
Other
Linden
places,
itself. All right, so given that, could you share with us what is the main objective of Young and Thoughtful?
Well, main objective is to assist young people in developing an education.
Okay. So when you say developing, what are we talking about? Developing themselves, developing skill sets, or
Yes.
development on a larger grid.
Well, we basically do like physical recreation, being actually volunteering for do other stuff like sharing hampers, cleaning drain, and stuff.
Okay, great. So it doesn't only force them, well, not force them, but get them into, being able to do community work, but also it instills self-discipline. So that's a good thing. All right. So outside of, being able to deliver hampers and doing community work such as cleaning up, what are some of the other activities that Young and Thoughtful actually participates in?
We do community service, we do um, fundraising, we have games day on Saturday, every second Saturday in every month. We do nature work and plenty stuff.
Plenty
Fun.
stuff. All right. So I know the agency would have collaborated with Young and Thoughtful on a number of activities, which included things like exhibitions and a lot of your cleanup activities and things like that. So how do you find that these activities benefit not only the club but also benefit the communities in which you're executing such tasks?
Well, for the club, we be based on responsibility, respect, giving other people a leadership in such as example. One of our students come brand new students come to join our club, right? And we see in 1 week we see a performance, a great performance, and he is a person like to dance and so forth. So we end up putting him as a leader to teach other people and carry it out
Okay.
outside.
Okay, so that's a good thing. It's good when you could use the strengths from within your group to, foster better relationships out there and to, also foster and find constructive work for other young people like yourself to get involved with and persons that have a passion for, issues of such or activities of such nature. So kudos to that young person, for being able to not only lead, but in a case like this, direct so that other persons can be able to develop their skills. All right, so how do you see being a part of Young and Thoughtful benefiting persons within your community or within communities outside, but not just within, Linden, but persons that are probably in Georgetown and would want to be a part of this, how do you see it benefiting those persons?
Well, we travel a lot to many places. For instance, Bartica, the hostel, the secondary school.
Okay.
They have a hostel. We went there about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We had a camp there. After there, we come back to Linden and we go to Blue Lake, have a camp out, and we invite other people to come, which they did show up. But due to this COVID,
Yes.
we didn't really get to do most of the stuff that we had planned. We had to cancel most of them.
Okay, I know COVID has really put a damper
Yeah.
not only on activities from youth groups and clubs, but on life in whole, on life and whole. So COVID is here, and we're trying to deal with it and do the best we can to adapt to the new norm. That's what we're calling it, the new norm. So, Mr. Lewis, how does Young and Thoughtful face challenges? Because we know there's always challenges in the things that we do. So what are some of the challenges that you guys face, and how do you manage to cope with them?
Well, first of all, we have a Young and Thoughtful Youth Club group, and we have a leadership group.
Okay.
That's where the leaders in, and the youth group, that's where the leaders and the youth members are in. So most of our members are living out of the area, and they can't really get to respond with us really. They have to take time out from work, and we have building that we need to get on our own. We have financial problems, and- but the main one is getting our own building.
Okay, so that's one of the challenges that you face, being able to acquire your own space more so. And as always, issues of those nature come due to financial struggles. And I'm guessing the fact that you guys are also looking for that financial support from persons out there. So, anybody who's watching and is inspired to assist Young and Thoughtful Youth Group, please feel free to make contact with them. I'm going to ask them to share their numbers with you so that you can definitely make contact and be an inspiration to them so that they can be an inspiration to somebody else.
On behalf of Young and Thoughtful Youth Club, I'm Asima Lewis, one of the members. To make contact to Young and Thoughtful Youth Club, we have a number, goes by 638 4085. I say again, 638 4085. We located at New Silver City Secondary School, 4 in the afternoon to 7 in the evening. Thank you.
So, what advice would you give to young people who are interested in joining Young and Thoughtful Youth Group?
I would give advice to anybody out there who do not really know certain stuff, like don't know to tie up tent and those type of stuff. You guys can come in to learn. I'm always here to teach. We have a lot of fun. We go on different places, travel a lot. But since at this COVID, we haven't really get to do anything. So we have to put all of our activity on hold for now, but we're getting there.
Great. So, Young and Thoughtful has been quite active, and we congratulate you guys on your efforts which you have been putting into place. I know you guys would have done a lot of work by painting pedestrian crossings. You've done cleanups at the Pinette Kernel and at Blue Lake, yes. So congratulations to you guys and the agency, we're always willing to participate and collaborate, and we say hats off to you for your efforts, and we do hope that you guys can continue to support Young and Thoughtful in all the work that they have been doing here in the mining town of Linden. So Mr. Lewis, thank you so much for being here with us. I hope it was a pleasure, you know, sitting here and chatting with us and being able to share a little bit of your youth group with us. So continue to work hard and continue to share not only yourself with other young people, but also your knowledge. All right, so we are going to be chatting with another youth group when we get back. So the Young and Thoughtful are just one of the community groups that does cleanup work at the Blue Water Lake here in Linden. So kudos to you, Young and Thoughtful, for the work that you do here at Blue Water Lake. Remember, you are responsible for keeping the environment clean, so do not litter. Thank you for coming back and watching The Environment Matters. Again, I am your moderator, Ladonna Kissoon. And I am now chatting with Miss Jackson from the CYEN organization. So I'll ask Miss Jackson to tell you a little bit about herself and what is her role within the CYEN group.
It's a pleasure to be here. As you mentioned, my name is Miss Jackson, Kiefer Jackson. I am the national coordinator for CYEN, or the Caribbean Youth Environment Network in Guyana. And I also sit on the regional steering committee for the organization. Although my background is in law, I love the environment and sustainable development, so I've been working with the organization for a little over 5 years now.
That's pretty long.
It's a long time.
That's pretty long. And I can see your enthusiasm and passion for what you're doing in the way that you're speaking to me. So
thank you.
That's a good go. All right. So CYN, how long has the organization been around? When exactly were you guys established, and whose idea was it to even start this club?
Well, CYN has been around since '93, as long as I've been alive. The organization has had a presence in Guyana, though, since 2001, with a notable person that would have been a part of the foundation of the organization being Dr. Paulette Bino. So she would have been instrumental in, for example, formulating our constitution, which would have been done, like I said, in '93. So, yeah.
Okay, so I know that CYN doesn't just have a presence in Guyana, but they're also more of a international focus environmental group. So how exactly does that work internationally, and how does Guyana now fit into that?
So CYN, because we're well, we have an international presence, but we're a regional organization. We have, from the formation of the organization in '93, it was understood that as a region, we have similar issues. We have cross-cutting issues in relation to the environment and sustainable development. So over the years, we've had various editions from various countries and territories, setting a presence in different countries, more recently Bermuda being one, and Aruba. Guyana has been a part of the coalition, lack of a better word, since '93, since its establishment. And we've been working with the organization. We have had a presence in the country on and off since 2001.
Okay. Right. So with all of that being said, what are some of the main objectives of CYEN?
So as an organization, we try to focus on the personal development of young people and ensuring that they have a place to discuss matters of the environment and sustainable development. We do that through the implementation of our pillars, which are education and awareness, participation and engagement, and advocacy and lobbying. So we've been using our various programs and projects that come under that particular pillar, whichever particular pillar that might be.
Okay, cool. So with your pillars being set up, therefore, we can find activities being tailored to suit those pillars. So what are some of the activities that CYEN has been engaged with, engaged through, your own organization and coordination, collaborative efforts, or, other agencies reaching out to you, and even for like just setting up a booth or passing on some information or the others. So what are some of your major activities?
Well, if I could stay on the same team and speak to the pillars, in the area of education and awareness, more recently we've had a webinar in collaboration with UNCCD related to youth, land, and COVID-19. So that webinar took place in May. Footage can be found on YouTube for persons interested in hearing that discussion. And we often have activities like that which promotes education and awareness through our CYN talks, which emphasizes the Sustainable Development Goals. We touch on them. We have young persons speaking on the various goals and just bringing more awareness to the need to have the goals and how young people can play a part in the achievement of the goals. Right, our second pillar being participation engagement. I think it is an activity that we're most known for, which is our International Coastal Cleanup. That's done in collaboration with Ocean Conservancy, our international partner. That is, though it's a cleanup, it's more of a data collection mechanism. So we usually try to clean up as well as collect data using our data card on what is at the beach and break that down so we have an idea of the debris that is in our marine environment. We also have the third pillar being advocacy and lobbying. We have right now a campaign rather, that we're part of, being the Stay Alive and Thrive campaign. This focuses on the 1.5 goal, 1.5 degrees Celsius, in order for this region to continue to flourish and exist. So it elaborates on the 1.5 to Stay Alive campaign, which took place some years ago. So the organization is reviving that campaign, hoping to get the participation and engagement of persons within the public environment as well as other stakeholders that have a part to play in reaching that goal.
Okay, so you guys can definitely check CYEN's, I'm guessing, Facebook page for more information on this campaign, and you can definitely be a part of it and do your part to, ensure that there's a Guyana for tomorrow.
Right. You could also visit the stayaliveandthrive.com page, which you could sign the petition, where you can sign the petition.
Okay, good. All right. So with all of that being said, I know there are a lot of persons out there that would want to know how to get involved, not only just by being a part of CYM, but to also be an activist for the environment. How do people, get involved? What encouragement would you give to somebody that is watching us to, become a part of the organization?
Well, for me, on a personal level, I believe that volunteerism is more than just donating your time so that you can have it written on your CV. I think a lot of young people are stuck in that place where we think, oh, I'm going to volunteer so I can write UN volunteer. And, but it's more than that. We have the opportunity through volunteerism to play an active part in changing policies and changing the environment and ensuring that we are able to sustain the future that we want to see for ourselves, for our children. And through an organization like CYN, though it might seem environmental matters don't particularly affect your everyday life, it's not putting any money in your pocket per se. If we take a closer look, everything and every issue of the environment affects you in some way. So being a part of CYN allows you to play an active role in being part of that change. As cliche as it is, and I hate myself for saying this, but if you want to see change, you have to be change.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. One of the things we do when we go out, there's this game that we play, and it's more of a challenge to people. We usually say, okay, if you can tell us something that does not depend on the environment, we'll give you $5,000. And we always go back with our $5,000 because everything depends on the environment. Right. We're all connected in one way or the other, and we definitely need and depend on each other for survival. So Just
100%.
remember that. There's nothing else, just remember that.
Yeah.
All right, so how do you see CYN not only benefiting Guyana, but also benefiting, you know, communities? Because I'm sure you guys do community work, especially with the coastal cleanup. As you said, it's the coast. It's a really long stretch.
Right.
How do you see these activities not just benefiting the communities, but also benefiting Guyana?
All right. So we have activities. Well, I could start with the coastal cleanup. We actually have. I'm guessing you've been to 63 Beach, right? So you know the state of that particular beach. So I think that's something that, as an organization, we hold very dear to our heart, and ensuring that there are more persons within that immediate environment that comes out and assists with the cleanup, and more than that, those persons have an understanding of the effects that they're having through their debris on their immediate environment. Because it's not just, oh, I go and loiter on the beach, but when you throw something there, it can affect your health, can affect your children, can affect the things that you're consuming, and so on. So we're in the process of implementing a project within that area, 63 and the surrounding areas, 63 Beach, Barbies, and the surrounding areas. And we're also in the process of implementing another project. Can't say much on it, but we're hoping that that particular project can benefit persons in the area. It's a fruit tree project, so we're hoping to implement that with the hope of it benefiting the community and having more interactions with the communities on that.
So that's a good thing. So that's something to look forward to.
Yes, please.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm not even from Berbice. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so therefore there's a lot to look forward to from CYN, not only just benefiting Guyana, but benefiting individual persons and the communities in which they live in at large.
Right.
All right, so I know with, you know, having an organization and being able to run it, you do need finances.
Oh, for sure.
So how do you guys more so acquire finances, and is there leeway that persons, if they want to sponsor or support CYN, how do they get involved?
Right, so as an organization, we live on donations, the kindness of our membership through their dues, and we also accept in-kind donations as well. So if anybody wants to donate to the organization and the work that we're doing, we are more than happy to accept those donations.
Okay, so you can see the account number for CYN right now on your screen. So just write that down, and like Ms. Jackson said, they are always willing to accept cash. So just make that deposit for them. All right, so with that being said, organizations, you know, as good as they may be, as good as, you know, things are going, there's always some challenges that we face, and we face from time to time. So I'm sure it's probably the same here for CYN.
Yes,
so what are some of those challenges that you guys face, and how do you more so find your way over or around them?
Like you said, we face challenges as any organization, any institution. So one kind of comes back to our discussion before, financial, and having financial support is usually a challenge. We have a lot of big ideas as an organization, but it's very hard to implement them if you don't have the resources to do so. Human resources is also a challenge for us, though we have members, because we're an organization primarily built around the kind time of young people. It's very hard for us sometimes to have the projects implemented in more of a timely fashion. Persons within the age range that we necessarily look at, being 15 to 29, those persons are just starting life, so to say. They're in university, they're doing exams, and so on and so forth. So though we have many members that are giving and very free in ensuring that we have the support that we need to implement all our projects and so on, it's a challenge sometimes to have full participation as much as we would like.
Okay. So on that note, for persons who would like to become a member of CYN, is there like a criteria or requirement for individuals to join? Because you did make mention of like an age range of persons. So could you share with us what the requirements are to become a member of CYEN?
Well, I don't want to say requirements, so to say. I feel that puts us in a strict sense, which we're not per se. Though we have an age range that we focus on primarily, being the one that I mentioned before, those persons are considered our individual membership. But we also have persons from various ages all across the spectrum that we consider our associate members. And we also have persons outside of the region that we consider our affiliate members. So being whichever age you are, you can fit in at any point in time. You can
definitely be a part.
Yes, please. We welcome all persons that are willing, even groups. We have a group membership. So if your group is interested in being part of the organization, we would allow that as well. But we, as far as continued membership goes, we have a strict requirement in the time that you can offer to us, because we find many persons just come, I guess, as a means to put it on their CV, and they never participate in anything. They're just there as a dormant member. So we expect that you participate in 50% of the activities for the year, and you pay your membership dues.
Okay. So basically that's it. So if you want to become a part of CYEN, is there an application, or I just come and sign up and say, okay? Yeah,
you just sign up in essence. You just sign up. You attend 2 consecutive membership meetings, which is twice a month. And you participate in the 50%, and we usually do a review of each person's membership every 6 months. So once you sign up, we have a sign-up sheet on Facebook. If you click the sign-up button on Facebook, or you can email us at guyana@cyn.org or cyninguyana@gmail.com.
Okay, great. So those are the ways in which you can make contact with CYEN and become a member of this very active environmental group. All right, Ms. Jackson, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience about CYEN?
Well, I want to encourage persons to sign up for the petition, the Stay Alive and Thrive petition that we have at the same name website, stayaliveandthrive.org. And feel free to give us your time, in-kind support. We have a lot of things that we have coming up, so you can keep an eye out for those activities.
All right. So there you go. We have been chatting with Ms. Jackson from CYEN.
So I must say, welcome to St. Cuthbert's Mission. I'm not pretty sure if all of Guyana know where we are located, but we are located on the east bank of the Marara, up the Mahaika River. And you can access us through road or creek, if you like. You can also find us on Facebook. There's a page that says St. Cuthbert's Pakuri page. Or you can get to my page, which is Pakuri Guyana, and you can get to know all about us. I'm happy to know that we're here, and we're here on this program, and we're in St. Cuthbert's. So it's like this is our talk show room. And I like the fact that this program is labeled environmental matters, because of course it do matters.
Welcome to our beautiful community. Like he said, you know, it's located in Region 4. If you don't know, you can access it through the river, through the Linden Highway. And again, welcome. We are so glad that you're here. We're so glad that the viewers are here, and we're glad that your team is here with us. And there's so much that we have in store. We are in position for 2 months now, and there's so much that we have done in these 2 months that I know would have caught your guys' attention. We know for the next months and years to come, we will have your visit more, and probably more of NCN come here and to cover more of our projects and more of our events that we will be having. Mind you, all of these events and projects that we'll be having, we will be following the guidelines of COVID-19. So again, thank you for coming, And we do hope this is not the first, neither the last time that you guys will be here. I do hope next time you come, you will be featuring one of our big projects that we have planned. So again, thank you so much.
So we are here at St. Cuthbert's Mission, and we are going to be talking to two of the representatives from the Village Council who will be telling us a little bit about their environmental work that they have been doing up here, more so in recent times. So I'll have these two very young men introduce themselves to us.
My name is Timothy Andrews. I am the two-chef for St. Cuthbert's Packery Village.
So my name is Dion Andrews, and I am a village councillor responsible for tourism, culture, and the community's social coordination.
So welcome to our program, gentlemen. So St. Cuthbert Mission, could you tell us a little bit about the history of this village? How long it has been around? What's your community population, and what are some of the activities that you guys are involved in and you engage in? Because I know when we were coming in just now, we saw some football happening. So yes, just let us know a little bit about this community.
History would tell us that we were founded some 132 years ago, and we are an Arawak tribe community located on the Mahika River, Region 4. You can also access us through the Linden Highway. Our population is roughly or nearly 1,700. So that's basically a rough figure that we have right now. Beside that, our community, we are more of our culture community, and also with most of our men, our families depend on lumber.
With all of that being said, what are some of the sustainable livelihood projects that you guys are involved in here at St. Cuthbert's Mission?
As of right now, there's no such project, but this present administration, we have these sort of projects in mind, in planning. We do hope with the support of the government and other NGOs and stakeholders that we will actually have some of these projects implemented in the community, because a lot of our men, like I said, depend on the lumber. That's basically it for now. But we are more focusing on making this community a tourism hub, and also go into large-scale farming in terms of our agriculture sector.
I know you've been mentioning agriculture as one of the larger activities that you are engaging in. So you would have spoken a little bit about the activities that you are hoping to get involved in with regards to sustainable livelihood. So just share with us, what are some of the ideas that you have and projects that you will engage in that will definitely need some sort of funding?
As of right now, we would have met out, myself and my counselor here would have reached out to the Ministry of Tourism and also GTA to see what they have in store for us, and if their plan if their plans are just in line with our plan or our vision that we have, do they have the same thing on the table to offer us? And we did met out to them. Like I said, we did reach out to them, and they would have committed to some workshops and some workshops, so we can actually have our people involved. So they would have recently started. We did our first workshop already, so that is bearing fruit already in terms of agriculture. We have recently started our beautification project, which my council here will enlighten you more about. But apart from that, I would have met out to the Minister of Agriculture, and he made some commitments, and he promised to visit us soon. Like I said, one of the areas that we really want to focus on is the bitter cassava, and from the bitter cassava we can actually market our red cassava, pure red cassava. So that is an area that we are looking forward to really implement and make it work, because I find that the bitter cassava, it can sustain somewhat of the village economy. And like we recently did, we recently started that project, and we see how beneficial it is. That is why we want to push forward down that line.
Right. So Dion, as Tushel Timothy would have just mentioned, you are mostly responsible for the beautification project here at St. Cuthbert's Mission. So just share with our audience what exactly does this project entail, and how are you planning to even execute the project going forward?
So, myself along with the village council would have sit and we've discussed this, and I'm so happy, I'm thrilled because for the position that I have, the portfolio that was given to me because it was appointed, I'm so happy that I was given tourism, because it is something that I want to do a very long time. And beautification, I came up with the idea of, you know what, I want my first project to be a beautification project. I want to make my community beautiful. I want to create something out of it. So what I did, I mentioned to Tushao, I said, you know, Tushao, I want my first project to be a beautification project. I want to see my community transform into a tourist destination. And I've sat and I searched within myself on how I should execute, how this project should be executed, and it happened so I came up with some ideas. Somewhat, there are a lot of steps attached to it. So Ladonna, me and Tushao, we checked in with the Minister of Tourism. She buy into the ideas, all of the ideas, because we came up with some excellent ideas in terms of transforming this community into a tourist destination. So she forwarded us to GTA, Guyana Tourism Authority, and and we had a fruitful discussion where Tusha would have mentioned that they actually laid on the table, put out on the table for us, some of their plans that they have for St. Cuthbert's too. And what they did was they arranged some workshops. So for this year, for the end of this year, or for the rest of the months in this year, we're gonna use that to do all of our planning and all of the groundworks. And after that, we're gonna go into action next year. So with the beautification project, we already started. The representatives came and we had a workshop, and we formed a tourism committee, and they're very vibrant, they're active. I hope that it lives on because if we are to have that growth in this community, it is a fact that we're going to benefit so much from tourism, because it has a lot of benefits to it. And I see tourism in itself as an opportunity for our people to be employed right here in the community. They can be able to maintain and sustain whatever they're doing, because they'll have something to do rather than to sit back at home and do nothing and gain nothing. I'm not saying that they're doing that, but what is happening is that we have a lot of young people when it comes to our daily lives and everything that they have to do. There's not much to gain. And with that sense, I see tourism as a great initiative in the area of development in every household I'm talking about, and individually.
So with this great expectation for, St. Cuthbert's Mission turning into a very large tourist attraction, what are some of the things that we can look forward to? Because I would certainly return, just for what we would call a vacation, staycation, to bring not only my family but friends to be able to enjoy your beautification project and all that you would have to offer on the sustainable livelihood. So what are some of those projects that you would have embarked on, and that you will be embarking on to attract persons to come and see what St. Cuthbert's Mission has to offer?
So, yes, well, first and foremost, I've mentioned beautification project, that is to let the community be an attraction to tourists, to visitors, so that that in itself can capture, that can draw the attention of all of Guyana, because I want Guyana to see what we have to offer. So I've discussed, we've discussed on a council level parks in the community which we do not have. I've discussed revising our culture, practices and so forth. So that too in itself can be able to showcase our community, our village, our livelihoods, and showing our true identity. So people don't just go to St. Cuthbert's and there's nothing to offer. I want them to see who we really are, our tradition. I want to showcase that. That in itself is one. And so there's this area that we've selected, we're still working on selecting that area, to create into a tourism lodge. So we can be able to host people and recreational areas and so forth. So we've discussed that too, and that is on the agenda. And that entails of hiking and canoe and, bird watching and all of the excitements. I can't get them right offhand right now, but it's there. It's there. It's in the plan. And I don't want this community to actually just have, like any ordinary tourism place.
It must be a standout attraction, yes, for anybody and everybody to want to visit.
Yeah. I don't want a particular building that I've seen in Region 7 or one in Region 2, and you can come here and see that very building. No, I want people to come and see something new, different, and attractive.
Welcome back. So we will be chatting with a representative from GYEN, and I'll let her introduce herself to you.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Shanetta Lowe. I am, as Ladonna mentioned, representing the Guyana Youth Environment Network. I serve as more of their PR person to talk to you, the people, about what it is that we currently do at GYEN.
Great. So could you just share with us how exactly was GYEN established? How long have you guys been around? And more so, like, what is the core of the organization?
Okay, so I should begin by saying that GYEN is a voluntary nonprofit youth-led organization, emphasis on youth, because most of our volunteers are between the ages of 14 to 35. And because we believe that the youth are the present, it is important for us to engage that demographic in execution of environmental projects, as well as conservation efforts, resource protection, and even local community projects within that population.
Great. So how long has GYEN been around?
So GYEN has been around since 2018. We're now in 2021. And so safe to say that we've been around for 3 years functionally, and has still managed to do quite a lot, since its background did not necessarily just begin in 2018, because we do have a prior history of environmental activism when we were once with what was once the Caribbean Youth Environment Network.
Okay, great. So with you guys being around for, an extent of 3 years, what are some of your main objectives or goals more so for GYEN?
So GYEN acknowledges several environmental issues that Guyana has been plagued with. And so you would probably see most of our efforts geared towards initiatives such as the coastal cleanup campaigns, such as awareness and educational projects, and that can be seen, for example, at the University of Guyana campus, where we would have a lot of awareness activities held. We'd go into schools, we have community-driven projects, and also a lot of online forums that actually talk about environmental protection and resource conservation.
Okay. So you guys seem to have a really large but somewhat specific scope of terms, so that's a good thing. All right, so what motivated you to become a part of this very driven organization?
So it was actually a funny story. So most NGOs out there, I tend to not just join an NGO because of the name, but because I see what it is that they're doing and what it is that they are about. And so I gained my love for GYN when I was at the University of Guyana campus, and they had a bit of like an exhibition sort of fair, and they had a lot of things on display. They had a lot of information, and the entire thought and idea of putting something like that together just to educate the average person, I thought that that was amazing, and it spoke to me, and so I wanted to be a part of something that was actually practical and reached persons the way it reached me.
Good. So it seems to be a very engaging organization. How many youth reps or persons do you have that's actually involved within this organization at this time?
I'd say at this time between 40 to 50.
That's a large group.
It is a large group, but it helps because everyone would not always be available at the same time to lend their efforts. But we know that of that amount, there will be a core group that we can always get at any point in time to be there to facilitate the execution of projects.
Perfect. So with projects being executed, I know you just mentioned you guys play a critical role in the coastal cleanup campaigns, which happens every September, and we're hoping that we can physically do it this September because last year COVID, prevented, the physical execution of the coastal cleanup. So outside of coastal cleanup, what are some of the other activities, be it small or large, that GYEN actually gets involved or spearheads, collaborates with other organizations to actually, get done?
Okay, so that's a very good question because the work of the environment never ends, one, and so there is an environmental calendar with year-long activities that GYEN consistently engages with. Particularly though, we have signature events, and one of those would be Earth Hour, which I feel is very popular and known to many Guyanese at this point. It's now more of a GYEN tradition. And so, but of course it's not done in isolation from other NGOs and agencies because we are big on collaborations. We also have the World Biodiversity Day, which is also celebrated widely, and other initiatives with the World Wildlife Fund and other agencies. So pretty much that is just an idea or a glimpse of what it is that we do.
Great. And, just for all of those who are watching us and listening to us, so both Earth Day, Earth Hour, it's March, and then we have International Day for Biological Diversity, which was celebrated in May. So all those are environmental observances and activities that not only the agency would celebrate and make mention of, but also you can look out for information and activities coming out from GYEN. All right, so we know with all that glitters, it might not be gold. So we know that every organization has challenges that they face from time to time. So what are some of the major challenges that GYEN as an organization faces?
Yes, indeed, there are sometimes challenges. I feel like one of the biggest challenges that not only GYEN face and other youth-led environmental groups would be the issue of funding, because we usually have such amazing ideas and we want to do so much. We really want to do more. And so sometimes our finances are I do not always match up with our ideas because we want to do so much.
Yeah.
So that is an issue, but we still intend to press on and continue to do the work that we do so that persons can look in to see, hey, GYN is doing a really good job in this area. Maybe we should support them, all right? So that would be one of them. And of course, I feel like the pandemic exacerbated any other issue that the club might be facing, whether it's more communication or more activities you wanted to do. The pandemic pretty much restricts that. But nevertheless, we have not stopped working despite the pandemic because the work of the environment must go on. And so we have still continued to engage persons despite those challenges.
Okay, so for persons that are watching us today, what would you say to them to encourage them to join GYN? What is it that they can look forward to becoming a part of this driven environmental club?
So GYN will continue to do what it has always been doing and also opens itself and lends itself to doing more every time. And so you can expect that in addition to our previously mentioned activities that we have, that we're always brainstorming and open to trying new ideas and new innovations as it relates to environmental conservation and protection. We have widened our social media platforms since the pandemic. So, I mean, the pandemic does have its negatives, but
there were quite a few positives that came out of it.
There were quite a few positives, right?
True.
And so if you've noticed, there's a very large youth population on social media. And so we have been able to expand in that area. So youth can pretty much expect much more growth as it relates to the way we engage them on those platforms, which is something definitely I would want to look forward to.
Great. So if you're interested and you want to become a part of GYN, how exactly do they get onto you guys?
Oh, that's an excellent question. So GYN actually has a Facebook page and contact information for us, our email address and phone numbers. And so if you reach out to us, we will be able to share our form with you. You get registered, and the registration process would, of course, entail you telling us about yourself, your passions, why it is that you would like to volunteer with us. And after those applications have been vetted, we will give you a response, whether yes or no. We will give you a response, and that response will pretty much let you know, okay, maybe GYN might not be best suited for me, but this another organization that is more in alignment with my passions might be better suited for me at this time.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Shanette, is there anything else that you would like our listening audience to know about GYN before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say that in today's society, we need more environmental agencies that are youth-led, that are youth-focused. Like I always say, nothing for us without us. No decisions or initiatives should be driven for youth without youth. And I think even for the ones that are not directly targeted, I still feel like having the youth voice there is very important. And GYN offers that, GYN provides that, and GYN is always open and welcoming to accepting willing volunteers who are ready to put in the work. So if you are that person, GYN is the place for you.
Great, so there you have it. If you are environmentally driven and you just have a basic passion for protection and conservation, definitely make contact with GYN, as Shanette said, on Facebook, and they will definitely reach out back to you. So we have been talking with Shanette from GYN on their roles and their functions. Thank you so much for tuning in to this month's edition of The Environment Matters. I do hope that you are inspired to not only start an environmental group or club within your community, but to also do work for yourself. Be that inspiration to others and be the responsible one. Remember, environmental conservation and protection not only secures your future, but the future for other generations to come. And I am certain that you want to leave a planet Earth for your children. Remember, The Environment Matters is rebroadcasted right here on NCN and on E-Network's Channel 1. Continue to follow us on Facebook and on Instagram for more details for rebroadcast dates and time. If you need any other information, please make contact with the Environmental Protection Agency on telephone numbers 225-5471 or 225-5472. You could reach out to us also via email. That's www.epaguyana.org. Again, I have been your moderator, Ladonna Kissoon. Do remember to stay safe, Guyana. Until next time.